Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lakeside. So two bits to this video really. First one is, the important bit really, is with my Derby Lightweight, there was a problem with the power car in that the lighting on it was very intermittent. It would go on, come off, go on, come off. Tried the car absolutely fine. No issues with that whatsoever. So I took this apart and I did quite a few tests on it as regards what was causing the lighting functions to misbehave. And my first thought was that there was a bad connection between the bogie and the two lighting strips just here, which contact up in the roof to the lights, and eventually I had no lights. So it wasn't just intermittent, there was actually nothing. So like I say, I took this apart and I tested all the connectivity between the bogie here on these power strips and the lighting unit inside here, specifically these two connectors which connect to the top here when it's in position. So I went through that process and I eventually found that there was no power getting to these two strips. Now they are completely independent to the power to the bogie and the decoder. They're completely separate. So because this ran perfectly fine, I knew it wasn't the connectors which are, if you like, here. I'll show you this closer up later on. So the only thing left to do was to inspect the PCB itself, and indeed when I took the old one off, there was a definite break in here which controls the lighting functions. So there was no other thing for it but to get this replaced. So I looked on the Bachmann website and they did a replacement PCB, thankfully. So I ordered that and it came today. So now it's a case of replacing this new PCB with the old one. So it means stripping this chassis right down, putting a new PCB in and replacing it, and hopefully that will solve the issues with the lighting. So in the end I had nothing, no lights whatsoever, no lights on the front and no lights inside. So there was definitely an issue. So what I've got to do is to take this apart and put the new PCB in, and hopefully that will fix it. We'll see. And as a catch-up for the Heritage Yard, I did a very quick video showing how far I've got so far, and I'll show that to you now. So here you can see the Silver Fox going, or coming from the two new feeds, going across the three-way point, going across the ash pit and onto the turntable. So this is all now wired up. The turntable is now powered from the track and also has its own 12-volt power supply too. Now the reason why I chose the Silver Fox was that it's got sound and it has smoke. So if there is anything intermittent on it, that will show up because there's no stay alive on it. And you will notice as it's going round that I've still got smoke coming out, So I know that there is power going to the tracks on the turntable. It's not stalling. And I've just got this set to an arbitrary position at the moment. You can see on the right hand side 5 tracks which will eventually be put in the correct position once I've laid those down. So they're the only 5 tracks left to position now. So it stops there. And it's starting to return to its original position. And this was really just a test, just to see if it ran onto the turntable okay from the main feed, and to make sure that the turntable had connectivity, which it has. Now I spoke to Alistair the other day, and Alistair is the chap who used to make these ADM turntables, and as you're probably aware, the company closed down for various reasons which I won't go into, but he did ask me to mention that anybody with ADM turntables looking for spares, just to reiterate that, you can hear the sound. To reiterate that there are no, sorry, I'm looking at it, it's going over the ash pit now. I was just going in there to show you. To reiterate that there are no spares available, absolutely zero, they're all gone. So there's actually no point whatsoever in contacting Alistair to see if he's got a particular spare, because he hasn't. Okay, so that's the catch up for the yard so far. I will do another video of this a bit later on in more detail. So, coming back to normal watching, I'm now going to take this apart and see how we get on. Okay, so I shall move the camera, get it up a bit closer, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, see you in a minute. Hello again. Right, so the first thing I need to do really is to remove the, oh sorry about if you can hear the noise in the background, that's the dishwasher on the go again. I seem to always catch the dishwasher. I need to remove the decoder at the front here just so that I don't damage it. Just got to get this tape off somehow. Now I know that somebody had gone into this prior to me getting this, because I did get this from eBay, and I could tell that somebody had already been inside here messing around, because there's solder in places where there shouldn't be. I obviously tried to fix it, but obviously didn't. Cool, blimey. Okay, that's the decoder out of the way. That's the thing I wanted to protect. So now it's a case of removing the seats. Oh. They're just held in with 3 small countersunk screws. Keep the screws with the seats out of harm's way. and I can smell, I can smell something that's been burning, so that's not good. Remove the rear bogie, keeping the screw with it. I need to remove the front bogie, and that's held in with one screw. That should drop out, bearing in mind it's connected to the motor by a little half shaft, which you can see there, just here. So I will put that screw with the motor. Now, I have previously oiled and cleaned all the surfaces, obviously, with trying to find out the issues with the lighting, so I haven't got to do that job again. What I've got to do now is unscrew 4 screws for this motor housing, and that should release the housing and the motor. Which it does. So there are the 4 screws for the housing. I'll pop those over there, out of the way. And I will just ease this up, the motor, out of its position. He says. It's just held in with a plastic clip. So I can put that over there with its 4 screws so I don't lose them. That now leaves me with the bare chassis, the PCB and the motor. And no doubt I will have to resolder the motor onto the new PCB. So I need to, it's held on with 4 screws. 1, 2, there they are, little tiny screws. 3, 4. And I'll pop those over there out of harm's way. So that now gives me the motor, which is indeed soldered on to the PCB. Now, when I took this apart initially, I took off the capacitors which they had fitted and rewired it, but the smell coming from this, and I can actually see that there's damage here where it's burnt, so I can get rid of, we'll put that to one side to leave me with the old PCB. And what I want to do is compare the two, and initially they look identical, so that's good news. Yeah, I can see that there's been somebody in here dropping solder on here. So spare wire there from somewhere. What state? God knows what they were trying to do there. So what I've got to do now is to get my soldering iron, unsolder these two wires, and let's get that into shot a bit better for you. I've got to unsolder these two wires and solder them onto these 2 points here, and then we're back to reassembly again. Okay, so I'll get my soldering iron on and I'll come back to you. Okay, see you in a minute. Hello again. Right, so I've now soldered the motor onto the new circuit board. So now it's a case of placing the circuit board onto the chassis. Before I do that, it's got its blanking plug-in, so I need to take that out for the decoder. Probably easier to do it off here than when it's in the chassis, to be honest. That's it, it's the blanking plug out. Just line everything up and it fits. That's good. Right, so I need 4 screws. Okay, next job. I think it's to put this on. Tuck those under the PCB like that. And it's a case of lining up those holes. Right, that's the motor casing back on. So we can now put the rear back on again. Trying to line the hole up. Which is a pain. There we go. Make sure it turns okay. That's that one on. And now the tricky bit is to put this front bogie on, aligning the half shaft here up with the motor. So what I do, I make sure that the slot in here is, if you can see that, the slot in the motor is vertical, and the two spigots on the half shaft are vertical too. That way you stand a bit of a chance of lining it up. So you drop it through the hole and feed it in. Job done. And if it lines up okay, the spigot in the top of the bogie pops through the hole, which allows you to then put the screw in. Now the Bachmann class 108 and the Derby Lightweight and the 105 I think are all very similar. So screw that down, make sure that there is plenty of leeway here, not too loose but loose enough to give it up and down movement, and that it turns. So that appears to be gone together very well. So now we have the seats to put in. Refit the decoder. Job done. So we just now need to put this on. Which is easier said than done, to be honest. Now that should be it. Right, quick slurp in my coffee. Yeah, so that should now go on the layout and function as it should do with all its lights. So that will be my next job. Let's just put this camera down a bit. That should be my next job now, is to put this onto the track on Lakeside and see if all the lighting functions work. I haven't put any stay alive in this yet, so I may get some flickering of the lights, but I can do that at another time. Okay, so I'll see you a bit later. Bye for now. Hello again. Right, we're back up on Lakeside now, so I've got the Derby Lightweight on the one of the sidings for the Heritage Yard. You'll have to excuse the mess on the layout at the moment, but I'm working, so it's work in progress, shall we say. And all works okay. So I've got the interior lighting going on both carriages, and lighting for the actual coach itself down here, and that changes from red when it's going forward and red in the centre for going in reverse. And I've given it a quick whiz round on the layout, and yeah, it goes lovely. What I did do in the end was to put my own lighting in this carriage, as it was all apart. I've just put a strip of LED in there, and I've soldered that directly to the contact inside, and painted them an amber colour and put a 1K resistor across it to take the brightness down. And you can't really see in this light, but it's actually dead on the same as that. What I would do at a later stage is convert this as well, because when you see it running you will see this flickering, whereas this one doesn't. That's quite stable. So let's give it a whiz round. You can see how far I've got with the heritage yard. So all the track is down apart from these. They've got to be done yet. But now this is all done, I know it sounds daft, but I will lift all this up again, up to and including this first point here, which is the main feed, and then this point and all the rest of the track. I will lift all that up again and put, let me get it if I can, can't see it, I've got some underlay, which is the Woodland Scenics underlay I've used for all the track. So I should be putting it underneath here as well, because what's happening at the moment, this is up higher, this part here is up higher than this here, so there's a gradual incline just here, but what it does is it upsets the points because they're not level. They're sloping down and twisting and so forth. You get, especially on the 060s and 040s, they tend to lose contact over the points. So when I've got the underlay down, it will level it all up. So I should be doing that. But what I wanted to do was get all this wide in and laid first before I put the final track down. It'll go down in exactly the same position, and it won't make any difference, to be honest with you, as regards visual appearance. It'll just have the underlay on it. Okay, right, let's get this Derby Lightweight going. I'll put it in forward, yep. It's really nicely sorted now. Very pleased with it. So she's now going onto the main line, coming out of the heritage yard. And onto the main track. Hopefully you can see it over there somewhere, maybe not. Should appear any minute now. There it is. Nice and steady. Got moving my iPad. Stop it a second. That's what I get for having this train room in such a bloody mess at the moment. Got nowhere to put stuff. Right. Where can I put it? I'll put it up there for now. Right, I think that's on. Yep. Right, try again. Completely forgot the iPad was on the track. But there you go, warts and all. bring that in just past the point. Change it, reverse it. You see the white lights have come on now. And you can see those lights flickering on the inside, but they don't on the coach, which I've done. So there we go. I'm trying to video this and control the iPad, which is over there, so it's not particularly easy. But anyway, it shows you it works, and I'm very happy with it now. So I think all I need to do is take this one off and put some LEDs in this one, then that's finished then. I was thinking about putting passengers in, but then I thought, well, it's going to look a bit daft sitting in the line here in the heritage yard with passengers in. That wouldn't happen. So I will leave the passengers out, I think. And then when it's travelling around the layout, it's obviously going somewhere to pick passengers up. That's the way I see it anyway. So that's it, that wraps it up. Hope you've enjoyed that. It's put my mind at ease now anyway, that I've got that running and working really well. Very pleased with it. I guess the next stage is, once I've got some spare pennies, then I will get a sound decoder for it, because I do love the sound of the Derby Lightweight. It's got a real sort of tractor type engine to it. Okay, I have been testing different locomotives, as you can see. I've got them dotted around, and the normal locos, this, they work absolutely fine, but the problems I'm having are with the little locos here, primarily because of the points. They don't like these points at the moment, but hopefully I can sort that out. It's not a feed, because these have all got direct feed to them, so I know it's not that. I think it's just that they're unlevel. And I think what I will also do is put a little bit of clear nail varnish over here as well, just so that that avoids any shorting on that frog, which I've done on other points as well. Okay, so that's it. That sums it all up for the moment. I'll keep you informed of any other changes I do. Next update will probably be, well, it will be on here when I've got all the track laid and I've got this commissioned to stop at the relevant points, but I can't do that until I've put these tracks down. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll speak again soon, and have a great weekend. Okay, bye for now. Bye.